What's up, guys? It is Jonathan with One Big Impact. So today we are going to go through 5 quick tips to help you improve your squat. So actually, first on the list is not going to be to do with the squat mechanics or anything like that per se. And I will do separate videos and link some end screens about different things like technique and also improving ankle mobility in a separate video. So keep an eye out for those at the end of this video. The first thing is going to be a squat shoe. All right. Mine looks a little old and decrepit, but I do wear it. It was in my backpack just a minute ago. I will put a link in the description below to a squat shoe that I think is going to be a good option for most beginners. And thank goodness for Amazon and wherever these products are coming from, because in all honesty, it's really nice that you can get a squat shoe for like 60, 70 bucks, because my squat shoe was like over 200 and they used to be on the cheap end about $100 and something. Now you might be asking yourself, what the hell is the purpose of a squat shoe? Why do I need one? Do I need one? I don't squat 5, 6, 700 pounds yet. But when I do, will it be necessary? Well, in my opinion, it's necessary for a few reasons. So the first reason is if you go into the average gym and you watch people squat, just look around, you're going to understand really quick that 99.9% of people in the squat rack have no fucking clue what they're doing. Does that mean they suck? No. Does it mean you suck? Maybe. I don't know. I don't really know you. But as far as your squats go, don't beat yourself up about it. But I will say a squat shoe is going to help you with a few different things. First of all, it's going to help you with full foot pressure. The bottom of this sole, even though it looks decrepit, it looks like it has some kind of give, but it is as hard as a rock. So there is no way for your foot to roll or twist or bend or anything like that. It is locked and loaded flat on the ground. The other thing is because of the elevated heel, bringing the heel up in the air, those of you folks that like to squat or lift in Converse or Chucks or Crocs, we're not going to talk about those people, but any or all of the above can leave you with a lack of being able to go down. And what that looks like is, here's your foot. When you get all the way down to the bottom, here's your heel. And your heel is lifting, your foot is doing twisting and trying to do weird stuff, you're going to set yourself up for an injury. So get a squat shoe at minimum. Put some plates under your feet, under your heels, like little 2.5s or little 5s, and see if you squat better. Have your buddies look at you. Wow, yeah, look better, man. And that's the first tip, because in my opinion, lack of ankle mobility and stability are a huge factor in the squat. A little side note, in addition to the squat shoe, grab some knee sleeves. I'll put a link in the description below for both of those things. It's going to be a whopping $100 investment for both. And tip number 2 is going to be the bar position on your back. So I apologize if the audio gets a little bit weird. I'm walking over here, but I do have the mic on me. So first thing is, when you start squatting and you're trying to change the bar position on your back, you're going to want to do some like shoulder mobility, run your shoulders out, do all kinds of funky crap that you think helps but doesn't, but it really might. So a lot of people will come under the squat rack, and I'm going to put this a little bit higher because I'm not actually squatting right now. A lot of people will come right into the bar. Well, the most common thing is people picking it up and trying to put it on their neck. You're not going to be able to do that as soon as the bar has anything on it. So don't be stupid, okay? But the next common thing is people will come under and they'll put it right smack dab on the top of their neck. And guess what happens as soon as you put weight on that? It hurts like hell. But in addition to that, when you squat, if I squat like this, the bar is actually out in front of me, or very, very quad dominant if it's a high bar position. Now, you might be saying, well, what's the right way to do it? Well, the right way to do it is going to be based solely on what you want to get out of the squat. Do you want to lift most weight possible for a 1 rep max? Or do you want to be blowing your quads up to look like monsters? If you want to blow your quads up to looking like monsters, put 1 or 2 plates on there and do as many reps as you can, 3 or 4 times. And you might be saying, whoa, as many as I can. That could be too many. That could be thousands. It won't be. I don't care who you are. It won't be thousands, okay? Couple sets of 12 with 2 plates, you'll be plenty fired up, trust me. But if the goal is to get stronger and get a bigger squat, it's important, put the bar in the center of gravity inside your body, okay? This is the bar on high bar position. This is your foot down here. Do you see how the bar is way out in front of you? But if you bring the bar down, it becomes in the middle of your foot. Therefore, the center of gravity being able to lift more weight. That is going to be more where you want it, right above the rear delts. Some people get higher, some people get lower. This is not going to be optimal. This is more optimal, okay? So, understanding bar position, low bar, high bar is the next tip. Little side note, how I told you to warm up your shoulders and stuff like that. If you are a very high bar squatter, like it's up high on your traps or your neck, and you have like really lack of shoulder mobility and it hurts pretty bad, just each week try to do another quarter inch down, quarter inch down. It is going to be pretty painful for a couple months, and I'll be honest, it really doesn't go away. But if you experience excruciating pain, you can use something like this bar. And I'll put a link in the description below for both of these. This is going to be the safety squat bar. This is probably the best bar for your shoulders, although it is probably quite far away from what it would be like squatting with a regular bar. It is very much more difficult than a regular bar squat as far as weight that you can lift, because the bar, the cantilever's out in front of you pretty far, so it becomes more difficult. This is going to be like a Duffalo bar, or this one's called a Buffalo bar because it's a different company and they cheated. But basically, it brings it so instead of your shoulders being here, they can be down here and it's not so much pressure. Next thing is going to be, this is probably the most common thing that I see people doing. The most common thing that I see people doing is they say, I'm going to go for a max today. And I go, okay, cool. What'd you just hit? And they go, well, I did like 3 sets of 8 for like 315 and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, what are you going to do now? And they're like, well, I'm trying to go for 365. And I'm like, you did 3 sets of 8 first, and now you want to try to hit a max? That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And it's not because you're stupid. It's just because you don't know. You don't want to fatigue yourself before you fatigue yourself, okay? Reps, high reps, and high strength, they don't really go together. And even if they did, they would be in dedicated phases. Keep them very far apart, especially not on the same day. If I do a max, I'm going to go, say I'm going for 405 for a max. First of all, 365 is a bad guess. If he can do 315 for 3 sets of 8, he's probably somewhere closer to 405 if he had pyramided up that day and actually did it right. If you're trying to max out, you would do something like, and I'll link a description to the other video, because the other video has more of like a long drawn out thing you can screenshot or whatever. But basically, you go 405 times 0.5 for 8 reps. 405 times 0.6. And then you just go through this little process or whatever, and you take your periodic rest periods so that you feel good and stuff like that, and then you hit your max. And then if you wanted to do sets and you still felt okay, then you would do them after. That's when. Next part is pretty important. And to me, I am like people call me OCD. You're trying to get too critical on me and blah, 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 blah. You need to understand, tip number 4 is you need to understand the proper mechanics of a squat before you're trying to worry about weight. So if somebody says, I want to squat 500, I say, well, what does the bar look like? What does 135? What does 2 plates, 3 plates, and 4 plates look like when you squat it? Are you a 500-pound squatter? If you're a 500-pound squatter, then you've probably been squatting quite some time. You're not really the average person, and even if you can squat 500, it doesn't mean it's going to be a good regulatory squat. And you might be proper mechanics of a squat are going to be understanding that the low bar position is going to put you in the best position in the center of gravity for 99.9% of people to be able to squat the most weight possible. If that's your agenda, then that's where you want to be. The other thing is understanding that the squat is done in a bent over position slightly. When you pick the bar, that's what you call when you pick it up. When you pick the bar, you see how I'm bent over? I pick it up, and I walk back, and I stay bent over. Never do I pick up and stand straight up, because there goes the bar. I'm going to go flying. The next thing, and you should all understand, and I will put a picture right here of me or somebody in this world that is squatting to depth. Basically, the hip crease, let me show you the hip crease. The hip crease, right here, this crease, needs to be below the top of the knee. This is the top of the knee. This is the hip crease. And you might be saying, well, that's not what I want to do. I'm not a power lifter. Even if you're a bodybuilder, you want to squat to parallel. So maybe not below the crease, but at the crease, okay? To be able to get full leg development. Otherwise, why the fuck are you squatting like that? Don't do that. Understand the mechanics. I would rather see you beautifully squat 3 sets of 8 with a plate than I would going like this, like with 500. That's disgusting. Don't do that shit. Tip number 5, squat with a video at knee level. This is why you're going to do that, okay? If you're squatting, most people, maybe not you, but most people are squatting like this, okay? And that is not where you want to be, okay? Because you don't understand proper squat mechanics, that's where you get stuck and you go back up. Proper squat mechanics would be down here. And you're only going to be able to see that if you're videoing from the side. You might have buddies. Are your buddies dumb? Maybe they are. If they're dumb, count on your phone, because your phone at this level down here will not lie to you, okay? Your buddies might be like, yeah, bro, that looks amazing. But guess what? Their squat might suck too. So don't trust them. Video from the front, the side, the back, but never video from super high up, because you're not going to get an exact idea of what you're really doing in squatting, especially if you're training for a powerlifting event. Because if you are, you're going to feel like a dumbass when you go get all red lights on your first meet. But if you want training, I'll help you. And I'll even fly to your first meet no matter where you go if I train you for 6 months. Secret tip. So really quick, this is going to be pretty significantly useful information for most people out there. I think there's a common misconception with thinking that more is better. So if you are squatting on a regular basis, you should have a heavy day, you should have a light day, and you should have a medium day. If you're trying to raise your squat, maybe squatting some type of variation 1, 2, and even 3 times per week. If you're an average person, 1 time is probably fine. If you're really looking to get stronger, probably twice per week. And if you're really, really, really strong already, maybe once, maybe a twice accessory, because it could be too fatiguing. So understanding that if you are really trying to put a lot of weight on your squat really fast, stop going way above 6 repetitions. Or stop going above 6 reps at all. And in my opinion, I would probably stay 5 or below. Now, I'm not saying that you don't want to do some accessory work like some leg presses or some leg extensions that go above that, because obviously you have to build size to be able to transform that into strength muscle versus size muscle. Understanding that you're going to have to take yourself through dedicated phases where you're doing like 5 to 6 reps for a few weeks, and then 4 to 3 reps, 3 to 4 reps for a few weeks, 1 to 2 reps for a few weeks. You guys, I can lift. This is not about me. I'm just giving you an explanation. I'm 43 years old. I started powerlifting like 3 or 4 years ago. I just squatted 633 in competition. I'm a raw lifter, just knee sleeves, just like the average person, and a belt, and maybe some wrist wraps. And that's it. That being said, in the last few years, I've taken maybe 15 or 20 squat records for the state of Arizona. So understanding that even though I can lift that weight, I can't lift it every day, okay? If I put 633 on my back when I've been doing like sets of 5 or 6, it is not going to work. It is going to feel like that weight is absolutely trying to crush me. And I can feel the huge difference. You can go sub-maximal. When you're doing like 5, 6 reps, maybe you're doing like 70, 80%. But when you get up towards, singles and doubles, you're doing 90, maybe 85 to 95%. It does not feel the same. And you have to slowly adapt to that. And understanding that you just don't want to throw heavy weight on your back all the time. Get yourself in a position to where you feel that on a regular basis and you understand the shock. Maybe some ammonia, maybe some food, maybe a meal, maybe some people to hype you up, maybe energy, maybe not going when you're like shit, you've been working all day and stuff like that. I hope that information helps you. In all honesty, guys, if you implement all of these things, I promise you're going to be a better squatter. If you have a big squat, so first of all, in my opinion, I love deadlifts. I do. I'm significantly better. My deadlift is unfortunately about 100-pound spread right now. Probably like 720. I think I'm at 720. I haven't hit 725. It's a 100-pound spread. I could probably hit 730 pretty soon. My squat is 630. I do not really love squats. I love deadlifts because it just comes natural to me. But in my personal opinion, when somebody tells me they got a big deadlift, I'm like, ah. But when somebody tells me they got a 5 or 6 or 7 or 800-pound squat, dude, put 700 pounds on your back, go down and come back up, dude. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like that is way more intense than picking something off the ground and then just dropping it if something goes wrong. You're really, really, really pushing it on a squat. So if you got a badass squat, I would love to see it. Tag me on Instagram, One Big Impact. And you know what? Don't think that just because you got a 300-pound squat that it doesn't compare to my 600-pound squat. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does. What if you're a 120-pound dude? I'm 308 minus. Like, I'm a 308 class. So I'm 300 pounds or less, 275 to 308. So if you're 150 pounds and you're squatting 300, that's the same as what I'm doing. Like, it's just a lower weight because you weigh less. So don't beat yourself up. You guys, squat carefully, put your safeties on, grab a belt, have some bros around, don't hurt yourself. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And as always, like we say over here, be stronger than your excuses. Get out of here. Go do something. Go squat.